Hey, this is Dr. Dean, and thank you for joining me. I am the founder of Global Trade Titans. That is rooms that trade truthfully, transparently, and profitably. Since 2009, I've been developing a master list of all rooms that trade futures, starting with number one at zero effort trading and ending with 1607 Zuna.com and everything in between. As far as I know, this is a unique list, one of its kind. You can buy it on my website. Now let's put this in perspective. I recommend less than 1 in 100 rooms. So here is 100 dots to represent 100 trade rooms. Here's 400, 8, 12, and 1600. Of all these rooms, I have recommended only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And we're going to discuss the 11th room today, Trade for Greatness. Now, by the way, this room is run by a woman. So to put it in perspective, as a room to consider, I'm also going to review the Fearless Girl and the status of women traders in futures, a review of all the rooms that I know that are run and operated and owned by women, going on to the main attraction for Trade for Greatness, and a final summary. So let's get started. There's a statue on Wall Street of a 4-foot girl. Here she is, short dress, hands on her hips, ponytail, staring at something. Do you know what? Yeah, this fellow, the iconic bull, the charging bull. This statue was erected and is designed to call attention to the gender pay gap and lack of gender diversity in the financial sector, which includes futures trading. There are some articles about women in futures trade. For example, Nick has one, which is pretty much useless and has no data at all. There's a second one entitled "Do Women Make Better Traders Than Men?" Really not worth very much at all. So I decided to do a little investigating myself. First thing I started with was World Cup Advisors. Let me show you what I found. There's a woman who won the championship in 2013, Victoria. Here she is. But it turns out in the last 20 years, she's the only one who has won. So I looked at World Cup Advisors today, real people, real trades, and real futures and returns. And here are the ones that are listed, all men, no women. You see these 4 guys right here? Let me expand this out. He lost 80%, 65%, 56%, 40%. I'm sure I could find 4 other women that could lose that much, or men, or pretty much anybody. But the point is, there's no women at all. I wonder. For my master list, I have a number of examples of women traders, rooms that are run, operated, and owned by women. Maria Rousseau, I've been in her room many times over the last 4 or 5 years. She basically is an alert service rather than trading and doesn't have a track record. Same thing for Sarah. Linda Rasky has the LBR group. She seems to be famous for being famous, but doesn't have a track record or trading now. The Trader Chick, by the way, she has another site called Desire to Trade. It has its own academy, but no trades and no track record. Moving forward, Carmel and High Heel Traders, here's her icon, has several pictures of herself. There she is, and she has this Paradise Island trade showing these red shoes, which, by the way, she sells on her website. Here's a picture of her, I think, trading, but she doesn't have a track record. Melissa Armrow of the Stock Swoosh has a room to avoid. I have a video on this. Has pictures of herself in red dresses and with the flamingo pose. You see, here's another one here. And she has a pretty neat set of shoes, too, but I couldn't find them for sale on her website. And there is her at her desk trading. Caroline has decided her name herself the Fibonacci Queen, certainly an ostentatious name. I think the only thing Fibonacci is good for is figuring out the hairdo for Trump. What do you think? Cynthia Macy seems to be a throwback from the 60s Flower Children, no data. Julie's Trades, no trades and no data. And the Forex Trader, no name, no trades, no data. And Millennium Traders, I have had this as a room to avoid in a video on it for a long time. Nothing worthy there at all. And here's one for you. Shiva has Lifestyle Trader. What does that mean? Well, it takes your charts here, and you add in this Silver Violet Flame session. Yeah, not so much. Katie Tutorials. Don't talk about them, except that they're new. No data. Laurel has a nice site. No information, no stats, no data. Paula Peters, I used to contact her. She had a picture of her wedding dress on her website. What do you think that means? Well, definitely she says she trades with God's vision. She uses this picture now. The Fibonacci Trading Institute. Of course, there's no trading, and it's not an institute. I have a video on it as a room to avoid. Trisha does a nice job trading, but has no track record, no stats, and no data. Same thing for Trade Out Loud. No data for this year. Moving on, Airplane Jane or C. Jane trade. Here's Jane, and here's Jane, and here's Jane, and here's Jane and her desk. No trade data. Too bad, so sad. And Candace, 1, 2, 3 easy trade. As far as I could tell, is 1, 2, 3 no trade. Trade with Venus. Here's a logo. Here's Raman. She says you can get to know me. Good deal. She also says that you can work with me. Yes, I can. She also says consistent, profitable results. She has no results, consistent, profitable, or otherwise. Too bad. Georgia. Georgia Anderson is a business person, which, as far as I can tell, likes to swim. She put out a book called Day Trading, Forex, and Futures. Here's how it's promoted. It's Volume 1. I can't wait for Volume 2. She also has an article, Women of Wall Street. Great article, and it is posted in Playboy. Now, I rejected her as well for the same reasons. I don't want you to think for a moment that I'm being superficial or gender biased in my rejection of these women. I rejected 1,588 men for exactly the same reasons. So let's get moving on. Trade for Greatness, a room to consider, run by April, a Global Trade Titan awardee that follows these 3 rules, 1, 2, and 3. Let's see how they play out. Here we go. Okay, rule number 1, must have a detailed track record, goes to accountability. Trade for Greatness track record starts in March of 2016, goes on for like 10 pages, and finally ends with this summary of the number of trades and gross profit from which she changed her strategy and continued on. Second part of her track record ends down here, so let me see what I say. First of all, I'm going to ask you one question. Is it against the law, rules, or regulations to post a track record? Of course not. But so many rooms use that excuse. I did a video on it. In addition to that excuse, they have a whole bunch of really silly, stupid, ignorant, preposterous reasons for not having a track record. And they are so funny. I put them together as a second video entitled, We Ain't Got No Stinking Track Record, and you should watch it. Thirdly, the room that has the most number of excuses for not having a track record is the Oil Trading Group, and I did a video on them. And right behind them is Ace Trades, and I did a video on them. Rooms to avoid. All right, so here's what I see in this track record. This was from December when she changed her strategy to the current date. This plus this equal this, right on. And it also satisfies rule number 2. She netted more than $50,000 net profit at 3 contracts per trade if you had taken all the trades. So good deal. When you do the math, it turns out that she generates an average of $80 and change per every 3 contract gold trade going back to December of 2016. How do you get that? Take the gross profit, divide by the total number of contracts, and then normalize the 3 contracts per trade, and there you go. This was the best I had seen, and when I reviewed all 1,358 rooms at that time and found the ones that traded gold the best, hers was the number 1 room. Same thing for oil. Same math. I did another paper on rooms that trade oil, and hers was the best as well. So, bravo. If you take the number of trades that are called across the 3 indices, divide by the number of days, you get 4.37 trades per day on a 2-hour day, so it goes to trade efficiency, and that's good. If you plot all these daily results in a graph, it looks like this. I can tell you or ask you the question, do you need special talent to compile a graph like this? Programs? Education, legal permission, 6 fingers per hand? No. So why do so many rooms don't have a track record? They don't want to. And by the way, she did well in the last 10 days. Let's take a look at her trades. And number 3, they must show their trades in real time. Let's take a peek. Here's a trade in progress, having problem understanding where it got in, where it got out, profit loss. Here's the number of trades for the entire day. Again, you can see the entry at 47, the exit at 50, 51 for all 3 trades. Right here, this is $1,120 for the day. So Trade for Greatness, then, a room to consider, follows 3 straightforward rules that I had to develop. Has a detailed track record that goes to accountability, earns or generates gross profit of $50,000 more a year, which goes to trade efficiency, and shows, states, and executes trades in real time, which goes to transparency. This is Dr. Dean. As always, thank you for listening. Agree or disagree, let me know your thoughts. Bye-bye.